Welcome to In the Trenches, defending the future of youth tackle football. Here's your host, Jeff Gorin.
Welcome into another edition of In the Trenches. As we started on this journey a few weeks ago about youth football and about getting people involved with us here at the U Conference across the country, we found somebody in our own backyard. And Marcus, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest today?
Our guest today played football in the NFL for 9 years with the Philadelphia Eagles and the St. Louis Rams. He helped the Eagles get into the Super Bowl with 2 touchdowns in the NFC Championship game. He was selected to the Pro Bowl 3 times. He represents the NFL as an ambassador around the world, including China, Thailand, Taiwan, Singapore, Korea, Hawaii, and Tanzania. He wrote a book, Surround Yourself with Greatness, published by Deseret Book in 2009. He summited Mount Kilimanjaro with 4 wounded warriors, as well as former NFL head coach Jeff Fisher and ESPN analyst Ted Bruschi from the Super Bowl Patriots. He is married to Michelle Fellows, who is an All-American volleyball player at BYU, and he says she's the best athlete in their home. They have 7 beautiful and very tall children and 3 grandchildren, and he's employed as at BYU as the Associate Athletic Director. Please welcome Chad Lewis.
Chad, welcome in.
Thank
you
you
for taking a minute. You
Yeah, we get to talk youth football.
We
Perfect.
do. And your boss, Tom.
He played a lot of youth football, too.
He played a lot. But guess what? Danny is my neighbor.
Oh, sweet. Danny's great.
We get to watch Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky's fun.
And I'll tell you what.
Rocky and I are going to hike Mount Timpanogos this year.
Are you really?
To the top.
I'm going to tell you what. Rocky's got it.
I know.
That
He's
kid,
good.
that kid's got it.
He's sweet.
I love that. I love him. My wife
Yeah.
teaches him in primary, and
Yeah, he's
it's all good. So, hey, thank you for taking a moment to come in, talk to us. Youth football, getting kids involved in this game, keeping them involved in this game. I don't know if you're aware of, and I'm probably Marcus made you aware of, in California, it got really close to becoming a ban through their legislature.
Yeah, they completely lost their mind out there. That's okay. If that's the way they want to run it, I'm glad we're right here playing football here.
But here's the problem. When it goes to California, we're generally 3 to 5 years behind them. And we want to stop it everywhere.
Yeah, let's not follow that yellow brick road. That's a dead end
we
right there.
want
Let's not
parents
do
to
that.
make their own decisions
Right.
about when they come into the game, when they leave the game, so on and so forth.
Right.
So you played youth football.
Yeah, I started tackle football in 7th grade. Before that, I played flag football. Loved it. Loved it. It was just my sport. I had fun. I understood it. I definitely wasn't the best, but I loved it. I loved being with my friends. For the most part, I had outstanding coaches, and it was a great experience. Loved
Tell
it.
us what it taught you growing up, and how has it impacted your life today?
It's impacted every part of my life. I mean, the young things I did growing up, school, church, sports. My main sport was football. And so if you're going to talk about the impact that football had on me, look at those years. 3rd grade, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, college, pros. My entire life has been impacted by football, my teammates, my coaches, my competition, my rivalries. Like, think of the lessons, the ups and the downs, my body developing from a little kid, 3rd grade, all the way through high school, and then a mission. And all of that was football pushing, touching, pulling, the influence, the pressure, the intensity, the challenge, the summer workouts, the weightlifting, the running, the difficult practices in 2-a-days, the games, the practices during the week, the playoffs. That's my whole life. My whole life has been impacted by football.
But some people would say, Chad, you're 6 foot a lot, and I'm 5 foot nothing.
Well, I started when I was less than 5 foot nothing.
But but it's a big man's game.
It's
and,
a big man's
and
game.
we need to save these
I-
little tiny kids
My-
from playing the game of
My
football.
junior year of high school, I was 6'140" playing football for Orem High School. I was a nobody. I had no muscles. I had no talent. I had no speed. I could catch the football. But the only thing I did my junior year besides play junior varsity football is I was on the punt return team for our varsity. And I almost lost one of our state playoff games because I didn't recognize that the team lined up in a wide formation and they were always tight on their punt.
Who were you
And they
playing?
did a fake. It was Granger. They almost beat us because of me. Because I went inside just thinking, comes a regular
No, wait.
punt. Killed me. We ended
Wow.
up winning the game. It was amazing.
But, we make mistakes and we learn from our mistakes. And football is a great place to learn
Yeah.
that it's okay to make a mistake.
It's
They-
okay. It's hard to make mistakes in front of your peers. But it's a great learning environment because hopefully you have a coach that can teach you and coach you. And hopefully you have teammates that you've bonded enough with that they're going to make mistakes too. And y'all make mistakes together and you can learn and grow and get over it. You're right. Like, part of life is making mistakes. Part of life is overcoming mistakes. Part of life is not curling up on a ball and crying. Part of life is moving forward. All that has to happen in football. You have to keep moving forward. And if you keep moving forward and your body keeps growing and you have good coaches, then good things are going to happen.
You said something that I want to come back or I want to touch on right now. Get hit. You have a choice in football now. Are you going to lay there and cry,
Please don't do that.
or are you going to get up and fight?
It's
the
not
next play?
soccer. Like, we don't roll around and fake something. We get back up and we keep playing.
I like this guy. I like this. Even though he's wearing a BYU. Oh, wait. Sorry. I'm a Utah guy. No, you're exactly right. It teaches so many lessons about life. How many times have you gotten knocked down since you quit playing football?
And if you're a parent, do you want someone to help your kids to learn these skills? Or do you just want to do it all by yourself? Do you want to have your kids have some successes, have some failures, but keep moving forward with friends and coaches in a good supervised place? Or do you just want to do it all by yourself with Xbox and Fortnite? Do you want to have your kids learn these lessons and get stronger and tougher so that when they're 18, 19, 20, they're ready for life, college, marriage, whatever, or not? That's why football is less about football and more about life. And it's a perfect thing. In America, we love this sport. They don't play this in Russia. This is what we do in America.
Do they play it in China?
Not really. They had a one-child policy. They don't want their one child to get hurt. So they put a bubble around them. In America, it's like, we got a bunch of kids. Go get hurt, dust it off, lick your wounds, figure out how to get tough because life is going to require toughness. You asked me if I've failed or fallen down since football. You fail and fall down every day. And to go through life, you have to have like some confidence, some humility, some toughness, some grit. Where do you learn all that? For me, it's been my experience with my brothers that we've learned so much of it through football. And I love youth football. I love high school football. I love college football. I love pro football. It's not perfect, but it's the perfect game. It's a perfect game because it takes people of, you can be all sizes, all speeds, all races, all languages. But you get out there and football's got a little something for everyone. You can find a place on the football field. It's a sweet sport.
So in your intro, as Marcus was introducing you, you said mom was the best athlete.
Yeah, by far.
How does mom feel about football?
She loves football. She loves football more than me. She grew up in a family where they watched Monday Night Football as a family. She understands the game.
Now
She
that's
appreciates
family
the
home
game.
evening.
I know. So we still today, we watch football together. We talk about it. We talk about the strategy. We talk about the coaching. We talk about the effort that players make. We talk about when teams lose their mind emotionally, what happens to that team. We talk about all of it. And yeah, so she was a 2-time All-American volleyball player, but she loves sports, all sports. She plays most sports. She's got an unbelievable sports mind. She just knows and understands and appreciates. She knows rules. So when it comes to like time management of a football game, she's got a great math mind. She's saying, Coach needs to call a timeout right here. Because if you call a timeout right here, then it saves boom, boom, boom. She's thinking ahead. She's really quick. It's fun to watch a game with her. I love it. It's cool. So she would watch my games, and afterwards we talk about everything. She saw everything. She got great vision and a great mind.
Now your boys are playing.
Now my boys are playing.
What social skills have they developed on the football field that they wouldn't get at school or at church?
One is toughness. You have to be tough to play the game. And it doesn't mean you have to be a beast, because they're not beasts yet. They're
Or
just
mean.
Yeah, or mean. You just have to be tough enough to handle like, hey, I'm really tired. Yeah, I know, but we got to do 4 more plays. Okay, I'll suck it up. That's toughness. I don't really feel like going to practice today. I'm sore. But I need to go to practice. That's toughness. Hey, I've got practice until 7, and then I have homework until 9. I can do both. That's toughness. Saturday morning football games, wins and losses. You're learning toughness, and toughness isn't the only attribute, but it's a really important one that as a dad, I want my kids to learn some toughness, because I know what's waiting for them for the next 8 decades of their life. They need toughness. And this is one cool place where they can not only have fun, but they can learn some toughness, and they're learning it.
So one of the things we're trying to teach a lot of youth right now, goal setting. How does goal setting being learned on the football field translate to their lives?
Oh, some people they put a stake in the ground that goal setting is the most important way to determine success. Football, you start the season and you're basically goal setting because you have 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 contests. Those are goals. Okay, we need to prepare through training camp. And then a coach can break down what you're doing as a position. This is what I need you to do to be a starter. Here's your competition. And if you can't do these things, it's going to be hard for you to play. Okay, you got to set some goals. You got to work, and you got to put forth some effort. And then the season starts, and each week you have a big goal at the end of the week. But during the week, your coaches are working on little stuff. Hey, we need to get better running the ball. We need to get better at tackling this week. We need to get better in our special teams kickoff coverage. Those are all goals. And the fact that you do them together as a team with your coaches, you're all like one big amoeba moving forward, like towards a goal. And again, football, you have all shapes and sizes. You have guys on a football team that would not necessarily be hanging out if they weren't on the football team together. And that's a cool thing. So socially, you're expanding your network, you're broadening your acceptance of other people. You're just like life is touching you everywhere, and that's good. That's a good thing.
You know, I couldn't agree more. There's another aspect, and you touched on it earlier, and I want to go back to it. You know, it takes a village to raise a child.
It does.
The mentorship of a good, solid coach. You've had some great coaches in your life. You've been blessed with your coaches, because the names, but
I describe it that Chad Lewis, have had the best line of coaches from junior high to the NFL than any other player in the history of the game. That's
Go
how I
ahead. Go
feel.
ahead and share a few of the names.
Lee Salmons was my 9th grade coach. Mick Smith was my 8th grade coach. Then Lee Salmons, world Korean War veteran, unbelievable stud, short guy, one leg because of Korean War is about 4 inches shorter. And we tried to tell him, dude, Lee, you're a warrior. You're a hero. He's like, no. The heroes stayed there. They didn't come home. And he would share like his toughness and fighting in the Korean War in a way that all of us little kids were like, wow, okay. Then moved right into my sophomore year. And then Tom Rabb was the head coach at Orem High School through those years, Tom Rabb. And he was the greatest, most inspirational coach in the history of Utah football, in my opinion. He was a black belt in karate. He wasn't like a real talkative guy. He was all about respect and toughness. He was super smart. He did his preparation and his work. He was amazing. We, as all my brothers played for him, we'd come home, we'd talk about him at the dinner table, and my parents were like, what makes you guys love Coach Rabb so much? And we just talk about Coach Rabb. I went to college. I played for Lavelle Edwards, who I think is the greatest head football coach in the history of Division I college football, because he had football genius and people genius. His Andy Reeds and his Mike Holmgrens and his Brian Billocks and Fred Whittinghams that he cultivated as coaches. Like, he had a gift to hire great people around him, and he had the ability to let them coach. Norm Chow, Lance Reynolds, my coaches were amazing. I go to the pros, I play with Ray Rhodes. Unbelievable players coach. He played as, a player, knew the game. I went from there. Broke my ankle. I was cut. I went to the Rams. I played for Dick Vermeil, one of the greatest coaches in the history of the game. Like this, Dick Vermeil as a person is just like, I just love him. I want to hug him. I want to thank him for the rest of my life. And then I go back to the Eagles now with Andy Reid, and all the coaches that Andy's had, those are all my friends. So Sean McDermott, John, just played football for the Ravens. He's the head coach of the Ravens. John Harbaugh. I mean, those coaches, those people, they shaped my life. Andy Reid was the head coach, but he had that Lavelle ability to hire amazing assistants that are transformative coaches. They're changing the game. They're changing people's lives in a good way. Amazing guys.
Well, Chad, thank you. Thank you. If you can't see why we need to keep this great game alive from the youngest levels all the way through the pros, come watch Chad, because I get goosebumps, people, when I hear his story, because it was good for me. And I'm 5'0", but I was a football player all the way through high school, played baseball.
Fun game.
And this has been in my family since the early 70s. So it was good for me. It was great for my boys, and it's going to be good for my grandsons.
That's cool, yeah.
So this is In the Trenches. I'm Jeff Gorange. Thanks to Chad Lewis, and we're out.